Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, a very special welcome. I'm Bonnie, Old Soul Mermaid, and today's video I thought would be kind of a fun thing to do. It's a VR to a video that Moon Baby Tarot did on her channel, and it is hashtag Tarot Collector. So she had a bunch of questions inquiring about our, tarot deck collections. So she has a list of questions and I'm just going to go through them. There's 9 questions and I added a 10th just because I thought it would be good to add. So without further ado, question number 1 is, what is your most expensive deck? Mine would definitely be the Victorian Romantic Tarot by Baba Studios. Now, Baba Studios decks are, in and of themselves, right off the bat on their website, they're on the pricey side. You know, they're about $90, $100 decks. But because by the time I was aware of this deck and by the time I was able to get it, it was no longer in print. So I had to do the aftermarket thing, the eBay. So this deck was about $200. And you all know this deck. It's a great favorite of many. There's one left in there. But it is classical art. And it is so beautiful. If you know Baba Studios decks, if you have one, yeah, you know why they're a favorite. Because the artwork, the production quality, the cardstock is all top-notch and very sumptuous. I have a few Baba Studios decks and I love them. I love old artwork. I love collage. Yeah, I love their decks, and there's their beautiful backs. But yeah, I went and I plunked down $200 for this deck, and it was around the time of my husband's yearly bonus last year, and so I was able to do that. I haven't paid nearly that much for any other deck in my collection. There is one, and I will reveal that later, which I would pay, more for because it is also out of print. But I'll save that till the end. So that's a Victorian Romantic. My least expensive deck would be, and I have to keep it in a bag, the Universal Weight Tarot. And you all know this deck. It's the one with the starry backs. And I will reveal why it was my least expensive deck. It was because it was left in a used bookstore, Half Price Books. If you're in Texas, you know the chain. And we have, in my area, in Austin, there's many of them. And they do have, they sell tarot items, lots of books on divination. You can get things at very good prices. But this deck was in their tarot cabinet. They keep their tarot decks locked up. And it was all alone with just a rubber band wrapped around this little book. And this was at the very beginning of my tarot journey. And something just called to me. And it looks so sad, just being unloved. I edged it because it's obviously had some love, but yeah, it was $5.99, and then it was a coupon weekend, so I got it for 50% off. So yeah, 50% off of $5.99. So it was a deal. I couldn't leave it in there. And this is what I use for a study deck. This is definitely my study deck. In a way it's precious, but in a way it is not. It's obviously been loved. I do love the cardstock of this deck though. So that is my least expensive deck. So what was it? $2.99 for this deck. Least expensive deck. So let's go on to question number 3. The deck other collectors want to steal from your collection. Well, I would have to say there's 2. The first one being, and I keep it in this box because it is precious, is the indie version of the Muse Tarot by Chris Ann Donnelly. I have the mass market edition, so that's the one I use. I've edged that one to sort of copy the beautiful salmon edging or coral edging on this indie deck, because you know this deck is going for a lot of money nowadays. I think when you find it on eBay, it's gone for a lot of money. So I keep this, and I'm not using it right now. I'm using the indie version because I really quite like the indie version cardstock, and I find that Hay House did a really good job with it. But this deck is quite expensive. I've seen it going for $300-400 on eBay. So that's a deck I think deck collectors would want, this indie version, even though the mass market is just wonderful. I think they just did a bang up job with the indie version. So that's deck number 1, and you know, I did 2 just because I can. The other one would be the other deck by Chris Ann Donnelly, and that would be the light indie version of the Lightseers Tarot. Again, I've put this away. It's on a shelf, but because I have the mass market version, and again, cardstock is wonderful. And actually, the cardstock for the mass market editions are easier to shuffle. And I've edged that one too, but in case you're new to tarot, this deck was this, and the other one I just showed, the Muse, were I guess the hits for 2019, most popular deck. And see that beautiful green it's edged? So this deck is very, very popular in the tarot community, and this version is very desirable, and I've seen it for going $600-700 on eBay. I don't know if it's sold for that much, but that's what I've seen them listed at. This has got the thicker, nice, I don't know if you'd call this rose petal, but it's a thicker cardstock that some people don't like because it is a little bit hard to shuffle, but I love it. And this deck, as well as the Muse Tarot, are very precious to me. And this also has the expanded guidebook with some extras that the mass market doesn't have. But the mass market did do a good job of keeping what's important in their guidebook. Okay, question number 4. What is my strangest deck? Okay. This is another little deck I found in the tarot cabinet at Half Price Books, and you can see it was $5.99. Now this is a major Arcana deck only, and quite truthfully, I haven't used it. I mean to get another bag. This, you can tell, has been well loved, the bag. This is the Butterfly Effect Tarot, and see how it's hand bound right here? This cute little guidebook, and it doesn't have any explanations or any keywords or anything. It just has, it's a picture book of the majors. So it is quite funny. And on the back it says the Butterfly Effect Tarot is about femininity in a variety of forms. It is about being comfortable in your own skin, about being able to be whoever you want to be. This deck is an expression. I can't read it, of what's most important to me to showcase women as they are, no matter the shape, size, or color. It is Eva's hope that through the mysticism of tarot, this deck will cause a literal butterfly effect, one that will resonate positivity, love, and hope to women everywhere. This zine is a compilation of the major arcana, showcasing the illustrations of Eva Duplan. You can view more of her work at evaduplanart.com, and it's signed by someone. So I don't know if there were more cards to this deck. Now I'm gonna have to go on the website, but as you can see, it is a very whimsical deck, and this is the backs. The cardstock is actually quite nice. There's a little chipping there, but I thought to use as clarifying cards, you know, it wasn't expensive, but this would have to be, I guess, my strangest deck. I'll have to go on that website and see if it's still active. I've never seen this deck before, and I know nothing about it, and actually it's been in my drawer for a while, so I'm going to have to do some research on it. I think it is quite fun, don't you think? It's female-centric, it is body positive, it is diverse, so win-win-win. I just hope that I'm not seeing any, did I see some age diversity in it and not see it? Not really, but you know, it does tick some boxes. I think it's really sassy. It kind of reminds me of the Bad Bitches a little bit. Bad Bitches Tarot. And look at that. We just flipped through, I think, the whole thing. Yeah. So that is the Butterfly Effect Tarot, my strangest deck. All right, question number 5. The deck other collectors are least likely to have in their collection. And I think that would be, well, the one I just showed you, definitely. But I would also say this one, the Hilda Tarot Burlap Edition by Celestial Esther from the Wildly Tarot podcast. This is a tarot based on the art by Dwayne Briers. I think she's a little 50s pinup gal, and she's just kind of happy-go-lucky, getting into all sorts of mischief and misadventures. And I don't think there were a ton of these decks printed, but I think she's working on printing a second edition, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to have it because I know the backs and probably the box are going to be different. I don't know if she's going to change any of the cards, but this is a nice linen finish cardstock, and it's wonderful. Oh, here are the backs. I do have a full unboxing of this deck in my on my channel if you want to see that. But it is quite fun, lighthearted. Don't you love her bikini bottoms right there? Isn't that a sweet card? So I would say, yeah, not many people have this in their collection, and it is a favorite. And I also know that a Lenormand deck, I'll definitely be getting that. Don't know if I'll be getting the second edition, though I want it, but I'll definitely be getting the Lenormand deck for this. All right, so that was my least likely deck that people would have in their collection. Then the next question, number 6, the oldest deck, the deck I've had for the longest time. Well, we're going to do a twosie again, a repeat, because it is this universal weight. And I found this at the very beginning of my tarot journey, and this was after I've been watching for a while the astrological tarot readings done by Onyx Healing on her channel, and something just clicked in me that I need to start investigating the tarot. And that was about, a year and a half ago, maybe a little more. And that I found this in all alone and forlorn, unwanted, unloved in the tarot cabinet of Half Price Books, and it just called to me. So while I don't use this deck a lot, it was this and another deck. I used this and another deck to learn tarot on, and that's coming up. So that is the deck I've had the longest. And yeah, I continue to use it for study purposes. Okay, let's move on. So we are moving on to the newest deck in my collection. It would have to be two because they came in at pretty much the same time, and I do have unboxings of both of these. The Intuitive Night Goddess and the Lua Tarot. And these are the two newest acquisitions. The Lua Tarot is done by Divine Muses, Marie Bento. She made the Antiquarian Tarot and the Divine Muses Oracle deck and the Antiquarian Tarot and Antiquarian Lenormand and the Lua Lenormand. So this is 19th century art, engravings, and it's a black and white deck, and I have a full unboxing. And you guys, this is what I'm working with this month. And I will be working with it for the good part of the month. But for a deck like this, with this time period, it is a wonderfully diverse deck, I think. Wonderfully diverse. There's no nudity in this deck, so you can whip it out and read for anyone. There's no blood and gore. You can see with the Ten of Swords. I'm finding that it reads wonderfully. So you can see my full unboxing. Maybe I'll put it in the cards or link it somewhere down in the description. But I love, love, love this deck, and I'm enjoying working with it. So that is the Lua Tarot by Marie Bento, Divine Muses. So I'm going to put that back in the box. And then the other one is the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot by Lindsay Silverman. I literally just posted the other day a full walkthrough, full-on walkthrough of this deck. Look at the lovely gold edging. If you've spent time with me on this channel, you know that I love collage art. I love collage decks. And this deck is female-centric, goddess energy. And I just find it beautiful. Just beautiful. And it's one that I know I'm going to be working with soon. Very, very soon. I'm like chomping at the bit to start working with this one. I just think it's one of the most... I've been having it in my hands quite a bit. Just while I'm watching TV and shuffling it. And it gives me all the feels. All right, so that's the Intuitive Night Goddess. So this and the Lua Tarot are the latest acquisitions to my collection, and I love them. So far, I just can't complain. All right, let's see. We're making our way through the deck that made you want to collect decks in the first place. All right, that would definitely have to be my Dream Keeper's Tarot. So I mentioned that I learned, the Universal Weight that I found at Half Price Books was my first tarot deck. This was the deck, my first introduction to indie decks. And this is what I use. This in conjunction with the Universal Weight is what I used to learn to read tarot on. And you'd say this is kind of a little bit advanced, maybe, but Not really. The guidebook is really, really good. I did get the extra guidebook, and this does come with a little white book, but it has a more expansive guidebook. And this is by Liz Houston. And again, this is what, oh my gosh, collage decks. And because it was one of my first decks, I think maybe that's why I just love collage art decks so much, because this was just, it took me someplace, and it still does. And as a matter of fact, the indie version is coming out of this deck. I have pre-ordered it, and I will do a side-by-side, and I will point out the differences. So in case you don't have it, or in case you have this one and you're wondering whether or not to get the mass market, stick around and watch my channel, because I will do a side-by-side and point out all the differences of this deck. If I find the mass market deck to be pleasing, I will probably put this indie version away. I just love the cardstock. This feels like, the cardstock is like almost like US Games Morgan Greer Tarot. I find it really easy to shuffle. It's a pleasure to handle. Oh, and those are the beautiful backs. So that is the Dream Keepers Tarot. So if you don't have it, if you missed out on the indie version, I don't know if the indie version is still available. My guess would be no, because now there's going to be a mass market version. The only thing I don't like about this deck is that it's in a tuck box. So if I do like the mass market one, which I've pre-ordered, I will probably put this one away for safekeeping and use the mass market one. All right. Oh, we're getting to the end. So this is what is my favorite deck in my collection. Okay. That's like trying to pick your favorite child, and I just can't. So I'm going to do it really quick in categories. For my newest decks, I'm going to say these two are my favorites for the newest acquisitions. But for the decks that I've had for a longer period of time, it was kind of a toss-up between three. So, and this is in no particular order. This is the Antiquarian Tarot by Marie Bento, and you saw that her Lua deck I have and I love. Collage deck, old 19th century art. Love, love, love. This is one of my favorites for shadow, ancestral work. This is what I use. Though I could see using the Lua Tarot for that as well. Then Lightseers, you guys. Lightseers Tarot by Chris Ann Donnelly. I find this deck to be a super, super easy reader, and one that resonates with everybody pretty much when I read for other people. And this is just a great, great all-around deck for all types of readings. And then the third one would have to be my Lightseers. Just, you know, it's one in conjunction with the Universal Weight. That's what I learned to read on. It is these three right here. Right here, if I had to leave the house in a flash and only take 3 decks, I mean, these would be the first ones I gravitate to, I think. Yeah. This is really hard. It's like I said, it's like trying to pick a child. And I have 3 kids, so I guess that's why I picked 3 decks. Yeah. All right. So the last one, this one I added this category. What deck do you wish you had in your collection at this time? And I wish I had the full-size version of Baba Studios Bohemian Gothic Tarot. I missed out. It's been out of print since I, was aware of it. and I was able to get, they came out with this little teeny tiny pocket version, which I'm so happy to have. The images, this is the 3rd edition, but it was out of print. And those are the backs by the time I was aware of it. And looking on eBay, the prices are astronomical. So I don't know if I'll ever be able to obtain this deck. I heard somebody, I don't know if it was Lisa from Supportive Tarot, said she heard a rumor that they were going to do another printing of this deck. I don't know. So short of them, you know, doing that, I don't think it's probably, you know, that ship has sailed. You know, I just missed it altogether. And I love it. Everything I love in tarot decks, it's in here. The images, the collage work, just the vibe. I know this deck has kind of been hit or miss with people. A lot of people love it, and some people it is left cold. But it is my jam, and I hope someday I'm able to obtain a copy in good condition of the, you know, full-size edition of this deck. I'm really hoping that Baba Studios does do another printing of this deck. I really hope so. All right, so that is my hashtag Tarot Collectors VR to Moon Babies video. And let me know what you think. Do you have any of these decks? Are any of these decks on your radar? I would really appreciate a like, a subscribe, hit the notification bell if you found any value or fun in this video, and I will see you real soon. You know I will. Have an awesome day.